Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, my adventurers. Welcome back to another video on Spade Gals Productions game unboxing channel with me, Jake Spins, who's also from Spade Gals Original, with Girl Cyclones, Quincor, Florali, and Vlogs. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for the big support on the Smash Brothers Echo predictions video. We already have almost like 100, and it's been up one day. Octo expansion went really well, so even more amazing. So because of this, in the last episode I asked you guys what would you like to see me talk about as well, and some of you guys said, what about Newcomers or DLC? Will you talk about that? So here we are, we're gonna talk about that. But before we talk about any of that, I do want to mention something. So in the last episode, we got 2 corrections. Thank you to Burst Flare for going and saying, hey, you know, you put out all these facts, but you did mess up a little bit. So we're going to correct those. So he did mention the fact that Sonic has used Chaos Control because we mentioned about Shadow versus Sonic, which we'll talk about a little bit more in just a second. But Sonic has used Chaos Control in Sonic Adventure 2. Technically, he's used it in Sonic 06, but does that really count? And I'm sure on his spare time, when he doesn't feel like getting up and running to the fridge, he'll go and Chaos Control to grab a burrito or something. I don't know, but he can use it. It's just not something that he really does, and I feel like he only uses it in, like, a pinch. Because when he did use Chaos Control, both times for both games, in SA2 he used it at the end with a fake Chaos Emerald, but at the same time it was a really hectic situation. And then the other time he used it, he was stuck in the future where it was like this desolate wasteland, and again it was another time where it was high stakes, high pressure. So maybe Sonic can only use it when he's in high pressure, I'm not sure. Either way though, the other thing that he did mention is that something I also realized right after, because I didn't edit, I didn't check any of this, but he did mention about the Pokemon trainer. In this game, the Pokemon trainer is not what's counted. It is Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. So we do have 68 Smash characters, so I was wrong, but I was very close. I don't know. If you want to give me that to me, fine, whatever. If not, again, fine, whatever. Either way, though, we're going to talk about possible Newcomers and DLC. Keep in mind, that does not mean they have a higher or lower chance of being in Smash Brothers. This is just a speculation video. None of these characters we are talking about have been confirmed or denied. And no, we are not talking about Waluigi, because he has been denied. You know, I might make a denied characters video. Do you guys want to see that? Like characters that we already know can't make it into Smash that people would love or might love to see in Smash. Either way though, let's get on with this video. So the first one, surprise, surprise, we're going to talk about all the Newcomers that are not DLC. Of course, they could be DLC as well. I do have DLC costumes with that. So the first one, with no surprise, as I just said, is Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, I've been seeing, you know, he's been in, like, Project M. At least I think. I might be wrong about that. It's not an official game anyway. It's a fan game. But a lot of people, for Sonic, a lot of people have said they've wanted Shadow. And for Sonic, the 3 other characters that could potentially make it in that are most likely are Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Shadow's going to be the Echo Fighter. He doesn't have the Assist Trophy, which we talked about in the last video of the Echo Fighters. But at the same time, he's an extremely different character. And my point being that he can use a lot more of the Chaos stuff. You know, he can use Chaos Control, Chaos Spear, Chaos Blast. He's got all those in his repertoire. And technically, Chaos Control teleports through time, but it also slows down time. So there are multiple ways that you could put this into Shadow's gameplay. here's the thing. Because of that, and because of all the different things that Shadows had, he can be extremely different from Sonic. And I'm not talking about taking up an alien gun or a gun's weapon gun. You know, if you played Shadow the Hedgehog, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about his side B being jumping on his motorcycle and running over some freaking Pokemon. No, I'm not talking about that. What I mean by all this is that everybody has 4 specials. So the specials can easily be the Chaos Energy. Just like Mewtwo and just like Zelda, his up B can be Chaos Control, where he teleports a little bit up, you know, warps, you can move him around, it makes sense. I know I talked about his up B right away, which is kind of weird. Side B can very easily basically be like Robin's, being the Chaos Spear. Of course, it could have a charge, but more so, it would be like the same thing, just a little bit more powerful, not like how Robin's is, just the same kind of charge. So it'd be maybe a mixture of like Robin's mixed with maybe Samus's neutral B, kind of something like that. Throw a Chaos Spear, you throw one, and no charge, just throw one, it'll be weak. But if you charge it and you throw it, it'll be hecka powerful. Now there's multiple things that could be his side B or his down B. So Sonic does have the homing attack and he does have the spin dash. You could easily incorporate that into there. So probably would be in one of them. But then the side B or the down B could also be Chaos Blast. I don't know how exactly it would work. If it was down B, I know this is weird, but it could work like... It could work in 2 ways. It could work like Wario's Waft, or it can work where you charge it. But at the same time, having an infinite supply of Chaos Blasts seems a little overpowered. So I feel like it would work more like the overtime thing, or like Little Max Charge. It would essentially work like that. And of course, you could give him that spin dash, because he's still a Sonic character. You gotta have that in there somewhere. And yes, you could have Chaos Blast be on the side, be kind of like Zelda's in a way, or something like that, and then down B be like Witch Time, but I feel like they'd probably want to have that spin dash in there. So, what could his aerials be and his jab? Well, you have Sonic Battle, which gives you a multitude of things. So his jab could very easily be the jab from Sonic Battle, and a lot of his ground maneuver abilities could easily be from that as well. Now his aerials, for like down aerials, I feel like that stuff would be put from maybe the Shadow the Hedgehog game, or just anything from out the years, obviously. His down aerial, I feel like, would be when he Chaos Controls, and he puts his fist like this, puts his legs out, and then does a slam. That was shown in the opening cinematic. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired, so it's hard for me to talk. That was shown in the opening cinematic of the Shadow the Hedgehog game. You could very easily just put that into his moveset, as well as more different aerial attacks, like side aerial. For the forward side aerial, it could be a kick, like a kick swipe. The back could easily be both feet going out, like how Sonic does, and then you could have like a little up kick. But you could also do that for the tilt. Of course, there's a lot we could talk about, but we have a lot more characters to cover, some that I know more of and some that I don't. So the next character would be Captain Toad. Now I know switching from Shadow the Hedgehog to Captain Toad is weird, and you might be like, Captain Toad's only been in one game. Like, he's not important. Well, he's only had one game, so Shadow the Hedgehog. But he was in other games. Captain Toad was in stuff like Galaxy. He was in 3D World. Granted, in Galaxy, he wasn't playable, only a cameo, but he did later become playable in 3D World, and he is getting a port. So in that case, it does make sense. Game Explained covered a lot of stuff of what Captain Toad could be, so I won't be saying any moveset since I did watch that video, and I don't want to steal any of their ideas or make you guys feel like I'm stealing their ideas, but I have felt that Captain Toad would be a great addition for a while, as have many, many people. The other thing is, you do have Toad's other appearances. Remember, he is still a Toad. So, because of that, you can take a lot of inspiration from previous Toads. And while you might say, well, doesn't that just make him generic? No, because it's Captain Toad. And putting a Toad in Smash Bros. Versus Captain Toad in Smash Bros., they would work very differently, because Captain Toad has the backpack and all these other things that he could do. Now, the next one is a representative of Pokemon. A lot of people have been saying this. I haven't played that much Sun and Moon, which I know, criminal, right? But a lot of people love Decidueye. Decidueye was also added to Pokken Tournament, so it makes even more sense. He's from the generation of Sun and Moon. They did this kind of stuff with Greninja. Granted, he wasn't in Pokken, but they put Greninja in before Greninja even was fleshed out, before they even knew anything about Greninja. So they could easily do Decidueye, considering the fact that he is out, where this development was probably before that. I don't know. It's really hard to say where all of this lies, but there's a lot of things he can do. I believe he's... I'm going to definitely get this wrong, but I know he's grass type. I want to say he's ghost type. I'll probably look it up and try to put it in the video. Either way, though, he's got a lot of moves that he could use, and there's no archers that are in... Hang on. I really need to move the phone out of this room when I'm recording or streaming. Anyway, though, as I was saying, Decidueye is an archer, and there's not any archers in Smash Brothers. And you might be like, but the Lynx have bows and arrows, and they have boomerangs and stuff. Listen, that doesn't count as being archers. They are sword wielders, and they do have bow and arrow attacks, but they don't have anything that would be like Decidueye. A lot of his moves would consist on the arrow stuff, but you could also have a lot of his secondary typing, because there's not any ghost or, you know, I think he's ghost. I might be wrong on that, and if I am, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of different things that you can do with that. That being said, there's a lot of things that you can do with having more grass types, especially with that archer thing. And I know people are like, but Smash Bros. Is such a physical game, they put Inklings in, and they have never punched in their lives, yet they made them be able to have physical attacks. Decidueye could easily have things such as Leaf Storm be his side B. His jab could easily be slap with wing, and hit with the bow. It could be very easy, and I know that this isn't a perfect representation, but they have Green Arrow in Injustice. They made that work. They have a bunch of different things that they can do with an archer character. It's been proven that it can work in a fighting game, so I don't see why Smash Brothers can't have that. Aerials would be amazing because you could easily just have them be the bow and arrow, and I know that doesn't sound original, but I don't know Decidueye's moveset, so I can't come up with all these big fancy things. I'm sure a ton of you right now can be like, this is what Decidueye can do. This is how he plays in Pokken. They can take from Pokken. They can take from this. They easily could. And you gotta remember, too, Captain Falcon was from the racing game F-Zero, and they took him with no moveset, nothing. And they made a complete original moveset for him. So it is possible with limited resources for them to take a character and build them from the ground up and just flesh them out. They did that with Greninja too. So it's possible. The next one, I've heard a lot of people saying this as well, but I have not played the game that these characters are from. That would be Rex, Pyra, and Mythra. Again, I don't know how they would play. I don't know anything about them, but I do know that the blade switch out, so down B would probably be the blade switching out, changing probably speed, power, that kind of thing, so that you can feel a little bit lighter when you need to, or you can pack a more of a punch when you need to. You can get that slightly further range, or that closer melee distance. I'm sure that he would probably have, you know, some kind of physical attack, but he wouldn't really need that. And a lot of people are also saying, well, he could be a Shulk Echo. And again, I'm not sure how Rex would play it would make sense to do that because they're both from Xenoblade, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it would be a perfect match, perfect fit. But who knows, again, I'm not a big Xenoblade guy. I've never played it in my life, so I can't really tell you about how that would work. The next one, my sister brought up a very, very good point. For Tails, Miles, Prower. I know we already have Shadow, and realistically, if we have one more Sonic rep, we're not going to have another one. I get that. I accept that. However, the fact is, Tails would definitely be a very good original character for Smash Brothers. There's no question if he would be an Echo or not, because he would be so different from how the others play. You could easily have... you could easily have his flight mechanic be, his up B again. I'm mentioning the up B again. You could easily have that be something like how Rob has it, where he just kind of, floats there and then he gets tired, like in the actual games. You could have his second jump be maybe like a little bit of a propeller spin, and then his up B would be like a faster one, which made him fly. That kind of a thing. You could have so many things from Sonic Battle, so many things across the years. His final smash, Shadow's final smash would basically be the same as Sonic's. That's not too surprising. But for Tails, his final smash could easily be bringing out the tornado, whether it be in regular form, whether it be in mech form. I don't know, but he has so many machines that he could just bring out and just wreck people with. How awesome would it be to just bring Tails out and all of a sudden he has this laser ability move where he gets like a few seconds where he's moving up and down, like he's moving up and down automatically, and you get to choose when you shoot that laser. You stop when you shoot that laser, and it's this big laser. How awesome would that be? You can have that be a thing. And then his other moves, you might be like, well, what would they do? Again, Sonic Battle. They could easily have the punching glove thing. They could have tail swipe. And for his down B, what they could do, and I know I'm all over the place, I'm like, whoa! But his down B could easily be from Sonic Adventure, the tail spin, where he gets this power and he does it infinitely. It would be kind of like how the fire mechanics work for Bowser and Charizard, where if you keep using it, it will eventually wear out, but you can move with it, and it would do like little chip damage, but the more you're in it, the more damage it would do, but it would be balanced about, the fact that it gets less and less when using it. Or maybe if you use it for too long, he'll get dizzy, like how Amy does in Sonic Adventure, same game, where she goes, spins, and then gets dizzy after you spin for too long. They could easily do that. And then for his other moves, what could his other ones be? I mean, side B could easily be him turning and using his tails to use like a wind attack. Could easily be that. And again, there's a lot of different things. They could easily have his B be the mouse bomb, or like building something, and then once you build it to a certain point, kind of like how Zelda's down B is, you can have it attack and it can have the different stages. Easily can do that. His down aerial would be the Electro Ball gun that he has, again, from Sonic Battle, and then you could have other things being tail swipes and little punches. His punches would be very weak, though. He wouldn't be a powerful character. He would definitely be, like, his power would vary depending on the move, but he wouldn't be a very strong, powerful character. He'd be very weak. You'd have to do a lot of combos. You'd have to be very versatile with him, but he would be fast. That's the type of character I feel like Tails would be. And, of course, his defense would maybe be a little below average because he's young, he's small, he's light. Okay, so honorable mentions here for the Echo Fighters, which I didn't mention, were Louie, which Louie could easily be, he would basically be like Olimar, but he could easily be either an Echo or a semi-clone. And what a semi-clone essentially is it's basically kind of like how Wolf is. You know, a lot of people say Wolf is his own character, but we have to be honest. And I know this is my opinion. Keep in mind, this is my opinion. You guys can have different opinions. But he does have a very similar moveset to Fox and Falco. While it does work slightly differently, it's the same concept. So it would be the same concept that just works slightly different, has a few different tweaks, angles to it, but enough to be where he could kind of stand on his own, but you still know where his roots are. And what Louis would be is that you don't actually see one type of Pikmin. If you don't know what type of Pikmin that is, that would be the Bulborb Pikmin. And Bulborb Pikmin, the way they work is, I mean, they're Bulborbs as Pikmin. It's nothing that special, but it would be kind of like in the middle of a regular Pikmin and a purple Pikmin. It wouldn't pack as much of a punch as a purple Pikmin, but it would pack more of a punch than, per se, a yellow Pikmin or a blue Pikmin. Maybe a little higher than a red Pikmin, but not as much because those are the fighters, and I think they do a little more damage. But you could easily do that. He could have a lot heavier attacks, and his attacks would be very similar. They would work slightly different, as I said, but they would essentially work all in the same way, and he could easily have a final smash, probably the same as Almar's, but he could easily have stuff from, spoilers, the Pikmin 2 bug boss that he was in. They could easily do stuff like that, maybe give him, like, weapons from that boss to use regularly, just to differentiate him a little bit, you know, and they could affect the Pikmin, so there would be a gain but a loss from it, and you'd have to be extraordinarily careful about how you do everything. Okay, so other ones would be Raichu, which would be an echo for Pikachu. You don't really need this because Pichu is in the game, but it would be awesome to see how you'd unlock him, and this is how this came about for me. It would be amazing to see Raichu be unlocked by you fighting a Pikachu that's level 9 with Pichu and winning that match. Of course, there would be some general rules. It wouldn't be an easy battle. It would be like a regular battle type of thing, and then you'd have to actually legitimately win against him. And then, of course, the other one would be, I hope they don't do this, and I really don't think they will, but an echo for Luigi, or in a way, an echo for Dr. Mario. So a clone of a clone? I know it's really weird. Dr. Luigi. I'm only adding this because it just feels like something that could very easily happen. Pink Gold Peach happened in Mario Kart, and continued, and has amiibo cards. So I could definitely see Dr. Luigi being a thing because he wouldn't be a good costume for Mario. Or, I mean, Dr. Mario. So they could easily do that. But again, he would work basically the same as Dr. Mario. So there would literally be no point of it just having Dr. Mario with Luigi physics. So there is that. Okay, now I know this video is getting super long, so I'm going to go by these fairly quickly. So DLC, Paper Mario. I know a lot of people are saying that Paper Mario would be a great Echo character for Game & Watch, but just because they have the same dimensions of being flat doesn't mean they should work the same way. Game & Watch is a very unique character. He's got references from his own games. That's why his moveset is like that. And while I see the concept of that, I feel like they'd want to do the same thing for Paper Mario. They'd want to make his partners be moves. They'd want to make his regular moves be hammers or different power-ups that he's had. Just so many different things that they could easily do. His grab would be a pixie. Oh, come on, what the frick? Okay, let's try to get this done before we get to another 11 or 12 minutes for the phone to ring. Okay. So, Paper Mario, okay? So I feel like his pixel, where he does the whole grabbing thing inside of Super Paper Mario, would easily be his grab. I'm not going to go in a huge depth because I don't want this video to go on for too long, and we do have a tiny bit more. And then you could easily have different things, like, as I said, his partners being represented, having basically all the games, except for Sticker Star, we don't need that. And then Color Splash, something from there can be his final smash. There we go. Plain, simple, easy. The next one, it was an assist trophy. So far, we haven't seen it as an assist trophy, but this character might have been just taken out, or might still be an assist trophy that we just haven't seen. That would be the Skull Kid from Majora's Mask. Now, I don't know exactly how this would work, but they could definitely come up with a very unique system for him. They haven't had any kind of trickster magic type characters. I mean, they've had magic in Robin, which we talked about before, but they haven't really had any trickster or tricky characters, so they could definitely do a lot of interesting things. He could levitate, but of course would fall easily, and then could have fairly powerful attacks, but be very light. He'd basically be like Mewtwo. That's how he would work stats-wise. And then, of course, I'm sure you guys could come up with hundreds of movesets for the Skull Kid. I, of course, can't. And another character that I can't do that for is Dark Samus. Now, I have Dark Samus under here because I feel like there'd probably be maybe one Echo character for DLC. And my friend Brandon did say that Dark Samus would work a lot differently than Samus, so if Dark Samus was in, Dark Samus would be a completely different character, but at the same time, we do see what happened with Dark Pit. And I know that negates what I said about Shadow, but I don't know enough about Dark Samus to really say for sure if Dark Samus is a viable option to be an Echo character. And again, the rules of being an Echo character are still a bit fuzzy. Now we have Costume DLC. I know, it's not that exciting, but hear me out. So the first one I have for here is Donkey Kong Jr. for Donkey Kong. It would make so much sense. You could easily do this for Diddy Kong as well, just giving him the shirt, but the proportions would be the same. You just have to basically give Donkey Kong the Junior shirt. It makes so much sense because it feels like it would be easy. They'd probably like touch up the fur a little bit, maybe touch up the face a little bit. I'm not sure, but the hitboxes, the area that he'd be in, would definitely be like the same exact thing. Donkey Kong Jr. wouldn't be an Echo character because such an obscure character, but also, you know, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, he just hasn't been used in a long time, but it would be a good nod to those classic games. My second one that I have for here is the Mii Fighter costumes. I know there's a lot of people that are like, okay, why would you just be spouting out Mii Fighter costumes? Nobody really uses those, nobody really cares. But wouldn't you care if they actually changed what the Mii was? And I'm not talking about, you know, making a Mii of a person and then putting the outfit on. I'm talking about having specifically characters that are for this, which would be Reggie, Sakurai, and Iwata. And you could have them easily be for gun, sword, and fighting, however it was in the E3 demo when they first showed off these characters in Wii U and 3DS. You could easily have that, and while you're probably saying you could just make a Mii of Reggie or Sakurai or Iwata and put them in the game, and, you know, that wouldn't be that hard. It would be really cool to see extremely polished looking versions of these guys inside of Smash Bros. And it would be a nice nod to the creators of this game and reminding everybody who maybe is new to the game, this is who's in the scene of these games. These are the cool people. And again, bless Iwata. He's I found out that apparently this game is coming out the day after his birthday. So it would make even more sense to do that. I don't know if they will or not. Again, this is just speculation. More speculation, however, would be Mario has the whole entire wedding outfit. So it would be great to see, this was my sister's idea, by the way, it would be great to see Peach and Mario with the wedding dress. I don't exactly know if this would work for Mario, just for the fact that it might change hitboxes a little bit, but at the same time, it's really hard to say because it wouldn't affect his moveset. It would more so affect his hitbox. So I don't know if they could make it where it wouldn't affect his hitbox or anything like that. But we will see if that could happen. Peach should be fine, but we do have already the nurse's outfit, which does look a lot like the wedding dress, and then the Fire Peach outfit, which kind of makes it, like, really hard to say. The other one is Wedding Bowser. This would make so much sense because it wouldn't change any hitboxes. You don't necessarily need to have his top hat on because he already has that model without the top hat. I don't think it would really change much. You don't really need to sleek back the hair if it would affect the hitboxes. But I feel like it would definitely be a really nice inclusion for that, especially when Mario has his wedding outfit for the game. And again, that top hat is on him, so Bowser might not be on the realm of possibilities of having that outfit. And of course, the last one would be for Pokemon Trainer, which again, this is my sister's idea. She said having Jesse and James from Team Rocket controlling the Pokemon. This makes so much sense because while you wouldn't have Squirtle be like Meowth or something, that would be disgustingly weird, you would have a nice nod to the anime. I don't know if Game Freak would okay this, but it's one of those things where it would be an even more cool thing. It would just be a cosmetic, so they'd probably do more if they did do Pokemon Trainer, but at the same time, they would still have those animations. It would still be Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, probably with more Team Rocket flair to them. I don't know exactly how they would do that. Oh, easily! They could easily do that because Team Rocket has always had their own Pokemon. So they could easily use those color schemes of those past Pokemon for both Jesse and James. And then you could be like, oh, here's an Inkay Squirtle type outfit. Here's a Mimikyu Ivysaur type of outfit for Jesse. You could easily do that. I don't know if they will, but again, it's speculation. So, of course, while that last stuff was very fast, if you guys do want me to go more fleshed out on these characters, I can probably go and write stuff down. But definitely let me know, what else do you want me to discuss for Smash Brothers? I don't know if I will continue doing this, but it is definitely something fun to just sit down and look at this and say, okay, this is in the realm of possibilities. It might not happen, but it could happen. And could is always the defining answer of hope for anything. So let me know, do you want me to do a video on characters that will not make it into this iteration of Smash? And this might be the last iteration. So Waluigi might be doomed for Smash. I don't know. I know there's a lot of Waluigi fans that would upset, but you know, that would be the truth. But there are a bunch of other characters that have been in Smash Brothers that will never be playable. So if you guys do want me to talk about that, or different alternate costumes, or something like that, let me know. As well, let me know who your newcomers would be. And granted, I wanted to focus this more on characters who wouldn't be Echo Fighters, which is why I didn't go in depth on a lot of the Echo Fighters, instead going for the others. And let me know, for the newcomers that I wasn't able to figure anything out, what would you have their movesets be? Remember, this is just on the fly. I'm not actually having anything prepared. So, again, I do apologize. And if I did get anything wrong, feel free to let me know. Either way, though, that's the end of this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Keep it safe.